Well, if you're not family or friends, you probably don't know who we are. Just a couple people on the internet. My name's Kevin. My wife's name is Kim. We're going by the Alaskan Snowbirds. Sit back and relax, and let us show you what we've been up to lately. Hope you enjoy it. Well, we got a normal wake up. Kind of a slow start, but a good start. It's probably about 9 o'clock in the morning here. We were thinking about holding up for a couple days here. We've been watching the weather and we've been trying to stay ahead of a cold front all the way through the Yukon, down through Edmonton, and we finally hit some warm weather here. The problem is, or warmer, it's still snowing. Up ahead is a snow front coming across Texas into New Mexico and up even into Colorado, Denver area. We are about to take the turn off I-80 and head south towards Cheyenne, which is on I-25, and eventually all the way to the south, all the way into New Mexico. As you can see, the weather seems to be getting a little denser. The sun is not so bright in the sky. The scenery is kind of the same though. Rolling hills, lots of straightaways, a little bit of blowing snow across the highway. It's just kind of, I don't know, when a car passes or something, you see it move and flutter along the blacktop there. But for the most part, we can tell we're heading into something. It doesn't seem bad, and we were having conversations about stopping in Cheyenne. And once we got to Cheyenne, well, our plans quickly changed. As we get closer to Cheyenne, the wind starts to pick up, and naturally I wonder how much more of this wind am I going to be driving through. And it's showing that the winds were going to be like, I don't know, 25 to 30 mile per hour, and blowing snow and possible sleet and all kinds of stuff. And we're like, maybe we should just hold up. And the more we watched, it wasn't the case. As we drove down the highway, it pretty much stayed status quo. The wind did pick up. In fact, by the time we got to Cheyenne, the wind was, I want to say, 30, 35 miles steady. It was blowing hard enough that when you open your car door when we fill up with gas here, that the door wanted to be yanked out of your hand and, blow the hinges off. So working from up on the North Slope for a period of time, or I'm sure if you're from this country, when it's really windy like this, you make sure you park your nose of your car into the wind so it pushes your door closed. Just something you get used to, I guess, in certain areas. But we looked at the weather, and it actually looked good all the way down to Denver, Colorado. So we still had, you can see the sun is still high in the sky. So we decided to push on. We had making good time, everything was good. I made the decision, let's try to go as far as we can. There's places we can stop. We can stop above, I think, Aurora, Colorado, or Denver, and we eventually stopped at Pueblo. But we decided to push on. When we finally get to the gas station to fill up, I remember getting out of the car, and it was a Yukon cold, Alaska cold. With the wind, I don't know what the wind chill was, but I was out there and I managed to put the credit card in, swipe it, and start to pump the fuel, and my hands were biting cold. It was that quick. I knew I wanted to push on just because it was more wind chill probably, but we've been watching this snowstorm that's been heading into the southeast into the southwest, and we want to get as far as we can safely. But we forgot one thing. There is some playoffs happening in Denver, Colorado. Didn't think about it. We had a surprise coming. Yep, we hit Denver right after the playoff game ended. I tell you, I always remember Denver from years ago hitting at 5 o'clock traffic. Well, this is a Sunday. Didn't even think about other people coming from as far as New Mexico, maybe from, who knows, maybe from where we came, just to see this game. We paid the price. Amazingly saw a lot of close accidents, but only saw a handful, less than a handful, probably 3, of actual, bang them up, push them off to the side type accidents. It started right as we hit the northern part of Denver, we start to see, I sped the film up here, but you can see the freezing rain, and it is slick. And everybody's going about 25, 30 here. And it is slick. But there's parts as we get downtown towards the Coliseum or the field where the football is, playoffs are happening. The traffic it just comes to a halt. And I didn't really film that. Who wants to see a bunch of cars permanently stopped for a half hour? But yeah, it was kind of nasty. In the next clip, you will see on the what will be our left-hand side, the driver's side, the opposite, the oncoming traffic. You can see where the car slid off the road here and went all the way to this meridian fence. It looked like it just happened. There's a car to the right trying to get across to help, but just that quick. Don't know if he had to stop and slam on the brakes and try to avoid hitting somebody or what happened, but with this kind of weather, things happen quick. We finally made it to Pueblo, and we called it quits here. In fact, we stayed 2 nights here. We watched the weather, and it was showing that places like all the way down in the panhandle of Texas, Pecos, Texas, Roswell, New Mexico, they all got hit with what looked like about a foot of snow. And I was telling the wife, it's going to take a while, a couple days before people get all this cleaned up, the plows. And so we took a 2-day rest here. It was actually kind of nice. Got a chance to spray off the truck. Wasn't a clean wash, but we definitely needed a good night rest here. I know the videos that we're showing lately are all about being on the road and not that exciting. Please bear with us, it's going to get better. But you can't make 5,000 miles by stopping every 200 to 300 miles looking for things that are of interest. We have to keep on task and get all the way down to Houston, Texas and pick up our 5th wheel. Once we do that, things will be happening that are a little bit more entertaining. But these last few videos and a couple more to come is all about the road trip down.